That's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how does Davinci Resolve do that? I can't believe it. Welcome to Tech Notice. This over here is a budget to mid-range PC. And the question is, if you want to use this for video editing, how well does it do on Davinci Resolve? So we're going to look at the live playback performance on Davinci Resolve of a lot of different codecs. Let's jump right in. So just to refresh your memory, what specs I'm using for this PC, here are the specs. For CPU, we're using the AMD Ryzen 5 5600X. For the cooler, we're using the Be Quiet Pure Rock Slim 2. For RAM, we have Team Group T-Force DarkZ Alpha 3600 MHz at CL16, and we have 32 GB. We have a 2 SSD configuration. Our OS drive is the Kingston NV1 NVMe PCIe SSD, which is 500 GB. And for the project drive, we have a Kingston A400 SSD, which is a SATA SSD, and it's 480 GB in size. Our graphics card is the RTX 3070 Founders Edition. The whole thing that powers this whole PC is a 650 watt Be Quiet Pure Power 11 FM power supply, and the case we're using is the Be Quiet Silent Base 601. So if you want to check out any of these, or if I went through too fast for you and you're like, which one was this again, I'm gonna leave everything in the description below. Oh, I forgot to mention the motherboard is the Asus B550 ProArt Creator motherboard, which is a fantastic motherboard for the creators. So all the links are in the description below. So I have my Davinci Resolve open over here, and if you are a Davinci Resolve wizard, then please let me know any of the tips that I'm doing wrong in the description below or in the comments below, because so I'm not a Davinci Resolve user, and I've tried to set it all up over here. So if I'm doing anything wrong or something is weird, just please let me know in the comment section below. So let's start with 4K 30 frames per second. And by the way, if you are a Premiere Pro user, you can check out the previous video, which was about exactly the same codecs, but on Premiere Pro. So this is my first time actually testing this on the Davinci Resolve. So it will kind of be like my impression of Davinci Resolve as well as these codecs. So we're going to start with 4K 30 frames per second. Let's just have a look. This is 422 10-bit, and it looks like the timeline performance is like insane. I know how bad Premiere struggles with this, so this is very very impressive for me. So 422 10-bit, as you can see, we have the CPU playing it back over here, but just somehow Davinci Resolve makes it very very easy to do. So this is 422. Obviously this is SI, which is a little bit easier to play back, but 422 is extremely hard for anything because there's no hardware acceleration really for this, because this is H.264. 4K 60 frames per second mirrorless camera. So this is 420. For example, if you have GH5 that shoots 4K 60 frames per second, 8-bit 420, then this is like the playback you can expect over here. Obviously now the timeline is not as good because there is 60 frames per second and it can't quite play it back. I should be playing it back all like full resolution. Let's play back. Sometimes I have to hit it twice, but looks like we're playing back 24 frames per second. And as you can see, playback, this is off. Render cache is none, and there's no proxies used either. So it's quite good. 4K 420. So let's have a look at 4K 422. Looks like the timeline is about the same as 420. That doesn't change anything here on Davinci Resolve. Pressing play. Looks like, look, it's a little bit struggling actually sometimes. Look, I'm pressing play, it plays it back now, but if I'm pressing play now, yeah, I mean, I'm still quite impressed because this is 60 frames per second, 422 10-bit, which is quite hard to edit usually on Premiere. So if you're using Davinci Resolve, I think any of the mirrorless camera 420 or 4K footage should be fine. Let's have a look at H.265 as well. But oh wow, that looks much better. Look at that. This is 50 frames per second and H.265, and yeah, okay, Now we have video decode on the GPU, so which means that the RTX 3070 is playing it back. Let's have a look at this. This is 420 as well. H.265. I mean, this is so smooth. So if you have any of the H.265s, let's have a look at 422 as well. So you see that's not as smooth as the 420, because the 420 here, as you can see, this is 422 10-bit. This is a little bit hard for it to play back. So let's have a look. So we're playing it back, but it's still the CPU doing the job, not this GPU. That's why it's not that fast. But 420, look at that. Smooth as butter. Absolutely amazing. So before we're going to move on to a higher resolution, let's have a look at Canon C200 Raw. Okay, so what we at here, linear, Canon Raw, 24 frames per second, DCI. So this is like 12-bit. I mean, looks like, I mean, how does Davinci Resolve do that? I can't believe it. It's actually playing it back. Full resolution, is it? I'm blown away because you have to see the previous video how well this exact same clip did on Premiere Pro, but this is so smooth here. Davinci Resolve. I don't know what you're doing there, Adobe, but take a leaf out of this guy's book, because this is insane. Like, I have a 6-core CPU and look how easy it is to play back. It almost feels like, what on earth? Check it out. Plays back, no problem at all. Okay, I can't believe it. It's insane that Davinci Resolve can do this. Wow. Let's move on to 5K RED RAW. So this was where like Premiere Pro already started losing frames. Oh, this is dead smooth. Flipping heck, this is amazing. Now let me go back to RED RAW 4K here as well. I'll show you the RED RAW. Oh my word. I mean, this is super easy how we're playing it back. Yeah, no problem at all. 6K B-RAW. So this is basically like what we should call native footage over here, because it's all black magic here. Obviously, I shouldn't expect any problems over here. As you can see, it plays it back, no problem. Timeline, like jumping around, is smooth as absolutely anything. So if you're using, you know, your Blackmagic Pocket Cinema Camera 6K or getting some B-RAW 6K footage, this absolutely flies through it. I'm more impressed by Davinci Resolve actually able to handle all of this. So RED RAW 6K now. Timeline performance, okay, very snappy, very snappy. Let's press play. Plays back, no problem at all. I mean, this is insane. So even 6K S5. So let's have a look at Canon R5 8K, okay? Canon Raw 8K 30 frames per second. Usually this is very hard to edit. No, don't tell me that. It's actually playing it back at 24 frames per second, Canon 8K Raw. How's it doing it? Am I doing something wrong? Resolve wizards. As far as I know, as far as I've checked, my playback is, I haven't used proxy media, optimized media, no, everything is off as much as like I can see. This is insane. Oh my word. So it looks like this system is absolutely fine to edit any of the Canon R5 8K footage. If you have any of that, use this Davinci Resolve, this system, and you've got no problem doing it. I mean, look at this. Timeline play around is actually like easier than the Sony 422, some of it. That's absolutely ridiculous. RED 8K as well here. So first of all, timeline performance. So look at this. We have 8K frames, yeah. So first of all, timeline footage. Plays it back. like no problem. I mean, Davinci Resolve, how on earth are you doing this? It's insane. I can't believe it. It's just so smooth. And I'm not even using the latest Davinci Resolve. I'm using the 17 because there is a 17.3 out as well. But I'm not using it. I thought I'm not going to do the update, so we can probably expect even better playback performance, maybe slightly on that. So let's have a look at the 12K as well. No problem. Okay, maybe a little bit of a problem here. Unless I'm doing something like absolutely wrong, I am so impressed by the performance of this. So anything I'm pretty much throwing at it, it can play it back. And like I could even go and use like timeline proxy mode and use the timeline as half the resolution. So let's have a look at this. Look how smooth this is now. It's buttery smooth. But I went here and put it off, so we're trying to use it as full resolution as possible. If I hit play, it still actually plays it back. It's insane. Davinci Resolve, I'm very impressed by this, and this was the timeline performance back on this PC. So if you want to check out any of the parts of this PC, or if you're wondering if you want to build one of these, check out the links in the description below. I'm going to leave all the parts in the description below. Thanks guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, hit the like button. It makes a difference. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next one. And remember, if you are a Davinci Resolve wizard, please let me know what I'm doing wrong or what could I do better in the comment section below. Review and some benchmarks for other programs. If you're a creative and photo editor, for example, and you want to know the other Adobe Suite benchmarks, for example, then check out the videos that are coming out very soon. Adios.